Good afternoon. Right. I have not seen any reliable estimate of how long it'll take to analyze, other than it's going to take whatever time is right and appropriate. The analysis of this document is going to be done in a very thoughtful, thorough, and complete way. We want to be very deliberative as we move through and look at this document to determine with the international community what this indicates about Saddam Hussein and his disarmament that individual appointees make. It's not uncommon for people who get appointed. The history of Iraq is unquestionably that they lie. They have lied to the United States, they've lied to the United Nations, they've lied to the inspectors. The question now is what is contained in this voluminous declaration that they have submitted. The answer to that is we don't yet know.
That go to support U.S.
Well, we're going to continue to work with the inspectors to help to get them the information so they can do their job. And we want the inspectors to be successful in doing their job. Of course, at the same time, we want to make certain that sources and methods are not compromised in any information that can be conveyed to the inspectors. I think that's very well known, and the inspectors understand that.
Congressman Dennis Kucinich, I'm joined here by our ranking member on Judiciary, Congressman John Kahn, that in hundreds of cities across this nation, there is a growing movement of American citizens who are demanding a peaceful resolution to the crisis in Iraq, who insist that the administration ought not escalate the bombing in Iraq, who insist that the administration ought not go forward with an invasion of Iraq. I hope the administration pays heed to these patriotic voices of tens of millions of Americans.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for putting this together.
I think it depends on how the Bush administration portrays this. I mean, what we've seen so far is that there's fairly strong support for military action against Iraq. But it's very conditional, and it depends a lot on how the administration crafts arguments for the use of force. The public's willing to give President Bush the benefit of the doubt, but they're also waiting to see what he has to say about these documents and making his case for war.
It's obvious that they have had a history of deceit, and for them to all of a sudden turn over a new leaf under the influence of the UN overnight would be a little bit hard to believe. So I would definitely think that not so much that George Bush has to get the nation ready for war against Iraq, but the people have seen that this is an inevitability, and that it's an unfortunate inevitability, but very necessary nonetheless. I mean,
that's all I go by.
Are you Levi?
Yep. You know, I think it's a bunch of shuck and jive, because they've got no domestic program. They're doing absolutely nothing to solve any of the problems we have here in the country, and I don't know where he gets off with this, like he's going to solve terrorist problem.
Well, I certainly hope that we don't go to war, but I think that it's pretty clear that there's something brewing in Washington, D.C., and that with an election year coming up, I think that the best way to safeguard a re-election for President Bush is to put the country into that type of situation.
I think we need to take care of it, get it over with. I mean, if that's what has to happen.
Not quite yet. I'd like to see the evidence. It's a very confusing situation right now. A lot of emotions, but I'm not ready to rush off into war yet.